Hello there guys and welcome back to Civilization 5 Brave New World. We are about to take Germany to victory. It's going to be a cultural win for us. Hopefully the AI won't spring something on me at the last minute, but I think we're pretty good. We're going to go straight into the next turn and see what we've got going on. So out of the 7 AI players, we've only got 3 remaining that we need to flip over culturally before we can claim the victory. And as usual, all of these reoccurring trade deals. Now this is one thing, if you've had a fairly peaceful game, you pretty much end up trading with everybody right until the end, so you're going to constantly get these little pop-ups when deals need renewing. Obviously, if you've been a bit of a warmonger, nobody really wants anything to do with you, so apart from declaring peace every now and then. City converted. Hamburg. Yes, I knew about that. We actually saw... Whose guys was it? Yes, it's you guys down here, isn't it? Nope, not the Japanese. The Songhai, I believe. Yes, it's those buggers. Oh well, it's not too much of a hassle. I mean, it's annoying, and I'm certainly... They haven't got any pressure on me, though, so I could flip that back, but I'm going to have to go and make an Inquisitor now, which is very, very annoying, because I wanted to try something else with that. Well, we finished our stock exchange down here in Munich. The next thing to do, probably, not an awful lot that's worth doing down here, to be honest. 13 population. How many tiles are we working? We do have quite a few specialist slots. And we do have a few tiles that we're not really working, so I guess we could go for a hospital. It is going to take quite a while. We've got the happiness to cope with having a few extra people. We're not going to build lumber mills. Lumber mills give us 2 production. I'm not bothered about production in Frankfurt. We are going to go for trading posts, 2 gold and 1 science. And this caravan is going to continue trading with the Iroquois. Okay, let's go straight on to the next turn. We don't really have to wait around for anything there. I think at the moment now what I'm mainly waiting for is technologies to be uncovered and great people to be produced. So, another research agreement offer from the Incans. I mean, again, why is this fair? This is the one thing that I don't understand that the AI does. A research agreement isn't going to benefit me as much as it's going to benefit him because I'm already ahead on technology. Yet he wants a research agreement which is going to cost me a flat 350 gold, and he wants all of my iron for 30 turns, and 3 gold per turn for 30 turns, and 24 gold. So it's really not in my best interests, and I don't know why they keep doing that. It does seem strange. It would be better for them to have a trade deal, so why aren't they offering me more to make it worth my while? Maybe it's because he doesn't actually have enough money to do the trade deal, so he's actually asking me to give him money so he's got the flat 350. Who knows? It still seems strange. So we've had a great musician born, and because we have the social policy, that will... it's not even the social policy, it is the... Let's get in there. It is our ideology. Futurism. 250 tourism with each known civ when a great writer, artist or musician is born, and we've just had a great musician born, so instantly that should have given us a bit of influence with all of those civs. We're so close to flipping Rome now, so close. I think the next turn we will have probably done that. Now we could create a great work of music and give us some extra tourism, or we could go and sail into China's borders and try and flip them with a concert tour, which I think is what we're going to do. We can do it from the water, so we're going to sail out there and try that again. I've already done that once, but it's the best way to use the musicians offensively. I mean, yes, we do get a lot more extra tourism per turn with various bonuses. We have got a hotel, so if we put a great work of music in Berlin, we'd get a bit more tourism from it. But we're so close now, I don't think it's going to make all that much difference, to be perfectly honest. So we'll let everybody else take their turn. Culture victory in Reach. Your culture only needs to become influential with 2 more civilizations to win a culture victory. So I assume that now means I have... I'm the only one that has any influence, really, with anybody. I assume that's Rome that has now been flipped. And indeed it is. The Songhai are extremely close also, and China's going to be the last one. So this may be the shortest Civilization 5 video I have ever done, which is not a bad thing. Okay, archaeology. We have one over here. Now, this is one of the other things that you can do, is if you create a landmark in another civilization's territory. I can't remember, I think this is an upgrade to a social policy. I can't remember what it was now. Let me just have a look. I know it's somewhere in there. Where is it? Where are you? It's not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one. Hidden antiquities sites. Just looking for it now because I can't see it. I don't know, maybe then it was from... It's either from a wonder or it was just added in one of the later patches. But basically what it allows me to do, as I've said before, building a landmark in... Well, building a landmark outside of your own territory is kind of stupid, because if it's outside of your territory, you can't work it, you won't get the culture from it. Building one inside an opponent's territory is even more stupid, because if you build it inside your opponent's territory, they can work it and they can get the culture. But if you actually create a landmark in another Civ's territory, it gives you a permanent diplomatic boost with them. Now, we're not too bothered about that at the moment because we've got fairly good relations and we are not attempting to get a diplomatic victory of any kind. So, we're going to create a Roman artifact, which will probably annoy China a little bit. But it just means that they have made a purpose for using archaeologists, even if you're going for a victory type that isn't cultural. You can use them to actually gain influence with civilizations. Okay, so Rome has flipped culturally. We already know about that. Not wildly ahead on the score. I mean, most of the AI are within... Yeah, we've noticed you've been looking for cultural artifacts within our borders. This needs to stop. I mean, no offence. We won't dig up any more within your borders. Or maybe we will and we'll just get denounced for it. Because by the time the denunciation gets around, I think we'll have already won. So yeah, most of the AI are within a, 100 or so of each other. Some of them are even closer together than that. So we are a little bit ahead, but not massively. Now, is there anything actually worthwhile as taking in autocracy that's going to help anymore? We're not really purchasing units. Local happiness castles, military base. I don't think there is. I don't think there's an awful lot to bother with. Let's just have a look and see what we have. I mean, we've maxed out aesthetics. Plus 1 gold from science buildings, why not? So 364 per turn, up to 393 per turn. Every little bit of gold is helping. And we have a cargo ship. Let's put this back on to highest gold, because it always reverts. Now, where were you going before? Or are you a new cargo ship? Previous routes with China. Let's have a look. Well, we could trade with Beijing, and that would actually give us 27 gold per turn, so we will be doing that. Obviously, we need to make sure we keep a trade route with China, because that gives us a 40% bonus to our tourism spread. So let's go on to the next turn. Can't help noticing that there is a Chinese Chu Canoe here, which is basically one of their unique units. It's an upgraded crossbow, essentially. So most of the decent land on the map has been colonised, as you can see. I mean, we haven't got satellites yet, so we haven't uncovered the entire map, but most of it has been explored with boats, so you can pretty much see the majority of the land there. Most literate people. See, I'm only just ahead of Rome. I only have 1 technology more than Rome, but I am working on a few of the lower techs, which I might get through quite quickly. Accumulated enough faith to do stuff. Bit of land up here that hasn't been used, but it is totally worthless. So, let us go and purchase ourselves an Inquisitor. As you can see, they've now gone up in price because we've moved into the next era. So they go up in price by era. We're going to go on to the next turn. We'll take our Inquisitor down to Hamburg and rid ourselves of the heathens. And then what I was originally intending to do was try and take an Inquisitor down to somebody else's city, because I was interested to see if it was possible to actually remove their own religion. I mean, it is the holy city, so it's always going to have a certain amount of pressure for Buddhism. But Right, culture victory imminent. Let's get rid of steam power. Culture victory is imminent, so we've probably flipped the Songhai now, I am assuming. We are on 6 of 7, influenced by player Songhai. Yes, we have flipped the Songhai. Just China to go. They're a little bit ahead of us with culture. Can't steal technologies from Rome because we have completely eclipsed them. That is fine. So what we are going to do is we're going to move you into China. Actually, no, we're not. Let's put you in the right place at least. Where are you? We're going to move you to Beijing. There we go. As a... If you put them in a city that isn't the capital, they always go in as a spy and attempt to steal technology. If you want to use a diplomat, they have to go into the capital. The purpose of having a diplomat there, although it's probably not going to make any difference because I don't think anybody else has actually adopted an ideology and probably won't get a chance to. Yeah, nobody else has an ideology. Is if another civilization has a different ideology and you have a diplomat in their capital, they will actually spread propaganda and give you, I think it's a 33 or a 37% boost to your tourism with them. So there is a reason for having a diplomat in the capital city of a civ with a different ideology if you're trying to get a cultural victory. So the Third Council of Rome is now in session. They want to embargo China. I don't really, mind you, there's a lot of people at war with China. So that very well may pass. And Rome have a lot of votes. Which means we wouldn't be able to trade with China anymore, which could be a bit of a pain. I don't know, China does still have a few friends, so let's not embargo China. This, of course, will annoy Rome very much because we have gone against them. Choose production down in Frankfurt. Well, is it actually worth you doing anything now? Probably not. Anything we start, you're probably not even going to be able to finish getting built. But we will go for a museum, because why not? You guys have arrived. I'm going to pop them straight away. Doing this could actually be enough for the win, though I doubt it. Let's just have a very quick look there. So have we got anything else we can move around either? See, nobody's still picked up any artifacts yet, so I don't know why the Chinese are complaining that I'm robbing their artifacts. It's not like they're using them or anything. Of course, we have the Hermitage now as well, which requires great works, are all filled with art from different eras and different civilizations. That we could probably do, to be honest. Beads, no, that's a statue, that's a pendant. Of course, we don't really have art. Most of these stuff are actually artifacts, so we can't do that at the moment. China, not quite there yet. There is a bit of a difference. Still putting a lot of tourism pressure on them. We are going to perform this concert tour. And we are going to have a look now and see what difference that made, if any. Oh, that's closed the gap. That took a massive chunk away. So very, very close to winning now. So what are they at culture? 13, 13-3. And we're at 12-4. So that's about 900 tourism. So it's still about 7 turns with current bonuses. But it could speed up. We have our Inquisitor. You should be able to get down there and pop in a single turn because you're using the roads. So let's get rid of the heretics. There we go. Of course, it doesn't actually flip it over to us yet, but we do have 13 followers there of Voltology, which is almost half population, and it does have pressure. So it should flip back to Voltology within the next turn or two. Of course, if we do manage to get up to 600 faith again, we can always purchase another missionary and go down there and do that. Open borders with the Incans. We've had that since the beginning of the game. They haven't caused us any problems whatsoever. Actually, the Incans actually quite like culture. They are one of the civs that do like to go for a cultural victory. Songhai have come to us now just to give us the message that they have been flipped culturally, which we were fully expecting. Just you to go now, China. Germany will be dominant over you. So, repeal furs fails, sadly. Everybody voted nay. Even all of the... I didn't vote on it in the end, did I? Yeah, I didn't vote on it in the end. So everybody voted nay, which was a little bit strange. I find it very odd that the AI voted at all, because it was me that put it through, and I can't see how having furs as a luxury would not benefit the AI. It's just strange, but a lot of them voted nay. Rome were the only people that wanted to embargo China, and they lost. Now, you can see there was 8 votes from Rome. There were 6 from me and 6 from other members of the council, including China. If I hadn't have voted, China would have been embargoed. I mean, I could have split my... I wonder what happens if it's a draw, because if I'd have only put 3 votes in, it would have been 6 against 6. So... Well, no, 8 from Rome, 6. If I only needed to put 2 votes in. If I'd have put 2 votes in, it would have been 8 against 8. I still wouldn't have been able to have repealed the ban on furs. I mean, even if I'd have put all 6 of my delegates onto that, I wouldn't have been able to have got that to go through, which is a bit strange. But at least we can still trade with China, which is good, because we need that extra boost to tourism. If that had passed and China was embargoed, we wouldn't be able to trade, and we'd lose that 40% bonus we get from having a trade route with them. Hamburg has adopted a religion, just as I suspected they would. They have gone back to Voltology. I've just seen an unknown pop there, which must have been somebody's great musician, just doing a concert tour. Not that it's going to make a great deal of difference to me, as that is. I mean, nobody actually has any decent amount of tourism, so I'm not sure who it was. Could have been the Songhai, could have been the Chinese, not 100% sure, but I don't think we have a lot to worry about there. Cologne has now finished its factory. Obviously, it's growing a bit quicker now because it has a hospital, so it did actually have some additional food, although it is using most of that now on various tiles and whatnot. Not a lot of point them having anything else here, to be fair. So let's just get them working on wealth. And that should be enough. Choose production now at Hamburg. We could go for a hydro plant. We have the aluminum, and that would give us some extra production. Not a great deal, but let's go for that. Make a proposal. What would we like to propose? Not an awful lot we could do, to be honest. Historical landmarks would actually upset a lot of people. World ideology. Now, I could potentially do that because nobody else actually has an ideology at the moment. Or we could go for a world religion. World religion is actually a nice one to have because, as it says here, civilizations who have a majority of the cities in their empire following the religion gets an additional 2 delegates. Now, that's mostly used for a diplomatic victory. So, if you voted in your own religion as the world religion, obviously most of your cities, so the majority of your cities are going to be following that, you'd get an extra 2 delegates. But the religion also spreads 25% faster, and the holy city also receives an extra 50% tourism. So, I doubt it's going to go through, although quite a lot of the nations do actually follow my religion. But that would mean, if it did pass, that we get another 50% tourism boost to the holy city for Voltology, which is our capital, which also already has a 50% boost in tourism from the hotel. Now, bear in mind that the hotel only gives you a boost to the tourism generated from the great works. The airport also only gives you a 50% boost to tourism created from your great works, but the World Religion Holy City is a flat 50% boost to the output of the total tourism from that city. So it's definitely worth using. The only thing is I don't actually think we're going to get that far, to be quite honest. So let's carry on with trading with Japan. 25 turns until the next vote, but I think we'll have actually flipped China before we get that far. See, the Iroquois don't particularly like the fact that we've done that. That's mainly because they've got their own filthy religion, which they've been trying to spread to me for the last few turns. A lot of the time now, it's just about picking something for the sake of it. A lot of the stuff isn't particularly useful. And I think this is why lots of random civs and random resources end up getting embargoed and then repealed and then embargoed and repealed. It's just the AI and other players basically just picking stuff where they can. Unidentified spy stole the secrets of biology from Hamburg. Oh, well, not an awful lot I can do about that. But if we suddenly start seeing people building oil wells, we'll know exactly who did that. Let's have a very quick look at the influence by player. How close are we now? They're not making an awful lot of culture per turn. They're still only on 13,578. We're on 12,902, making 235 per turn. Because obviously, even though we generate 131 tourism per turn, we've got our actual bonuses from our trade routes and from our open borders. So we're actually adding 235 tourism per turn. So we need another 600. So 3 turns really, and that should be a win. So let's go on to the next turn. I mean, that's obviously if the tourism and their culture output stays the same. Yeah, we've been working together. I'm surprised they're still on the map. They've been declared war on like every 5 minutes by Rome and China. I'm amazed that Carthage even still have a city. Obviously, Rome's not happy about that, but I do not care. Where is Carthage? I mean, do they still even have anything left? Yeah, they're already friends with Caesar has entered the modern era. Just trying to see, not that it really matters, but I'm just interested to see where Carthage's capital is. Is it down there now? Yeah, that's... Ooh, camera's spazzing out. Okay, so we have Broadway. We get another free great musician in the city where the wonder was built. Contains 3 slots for great works of music. Now, the future, as I said before, the futurism ideology, ideological talent gives us 250 culture, so 250 tourism with every other civ when a great musician, artist or writer is born. But this says a great musician appears. It doesn't say they're born, so I don't know if that necessarily counts. But as you can see, there was Carthage, original capital. I don't recognise that city name. I assume that was originally a Carthaginian city. And yeah, all they've got now is this little 2-hex island. Poor them. Anyway, choose production. We are going over to Berlin. We have finished Broadway. Can't do the NIA yet because we still need police stations in Munich, Cologne and Frankfurt. Although we could afford that, so we probably don't need to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, Frankfurt. Purchase. Constabulary first. Purchase police station. Okay, Munich, Cologne, Frankfurt. There's Munich. Purchase constabulary. Purchase police station. And we are also going to... Actually, what we are going to do... Let me just check something. Do we already have a broadcast tower here? No, we do not. Can't afford one either now, which is annoying, but it is a boost to culture more than anything else. Can't afford a police station even if I need one. Cologne, what do you have? Purchase. We've got a constabulary now. Still doesn't help me because I can't build what I wanted to. So we'll start work on the broadcast tower here. An extra 33% culture can't be a bad thing. Now, we only have one culture that we are not already... Can we get into your borders in any less than 5 turns? No. So we will try and manoeuvre into China's borders. It probably isn't going to make a great deal of difference, to be perfectly honest, because I think within the next turn or 2 we will have won. But if we haven't won in the 5 turns it takes our great musician to actually get to China, we will just perform a concert tour, and that should be GG. Dido wants 72 gold per turn for 30 turns. No. Why would I want to do that? This is what makes me laugh. I mean, I know we're friends. They ask me for gold, and I say no. And then they get all arsey about it. Okay, so an ideology has been adopted. Japan wants to go to war with China. What a surprise. Don't have any interest in that. Might be disappointing, but there you go. It's Rome. That makes sense that it would be Rome. Yeah, let's carry on with that. I don't mind. Now, what did they adopt? Autocracy. So they actually have gone for the same ideology as me. Which means that they don't get 2 free tenants, but it also means that I don't get any sort of pressure on them if I have a diplomat in their capital. So if we just have a quick look at the culture overview and culture victory, yeah, we've got the same, and we're both content, and they've got quite a lot of happiness. If they'd have chosen one of the other ones, they'd have had sort of dissidence or worse, simply because, as you can see at the bottom of that little pop-up, it says, influenced by the ideology of these civs for autocracy, Germany, and we've got 4 swords on there, because that basically means, because we have a certain level of influence with them, I mean, we're not culturally influential. Well, we are. We're influential now with Rome. But because we have so much cultural influence over them, all of their people prefer autocracy. So if they'd have picked something else, they'd have had a lot of happiness issues. China, what are we on? 13-6 to 13-7. That's it. We are 1 turn away from a victory. So let's click next turn. Hopefully I've done the math right. And it probably won't do anything until the turn resolves, because I'm not sure whether at what point it actually adds up the tourism. No. You see, this is one thing that I could do. I could turn around and say to them, I mean, obviously I'm not interested in this agreement, so let me just untick everything from that agreement there. I could turn around and go, what would happen if I wanted you to use your 2 delegates to vote yes on the world religion Voltology? Now, as you can see, he wants a actually, that's not a lot of stuff. He wants a couple of resources for 30 turns and 10 gold. Now, that's quite low, because that might be that he was going to vote yes on it anyway. But it does mean that I can actually buy their votes and guarantee that they will actually vote for me or vote in my favour. Obviously, I'm not wanting to do that, but I just wanted to show you that was an option. So it's moved on to the city-states, and then it will move on to the barbarians. Just thinking about it now, it might not flip this turn, because even though we were only 100 or so behind, I also forgot to take into account the fact that China were also going to gain some culture on that turn as well. So they're at 13,905, and our tourism is at 13,865. So literally we need 40 tourism. So we need 40 tourism. We're putting out 239. So let's say 240. We're putting out 240 per turn. If they put out more than 200 culture per turn, then, which they probably are, so it's probably going to be 2 turns. It could be on the next turn, who knows, depends how much culture they're putting out. So let's go over there and we will build another trading post for what it's worth. We can't do anything else, so let's pop that button and see what happens. Processing the turn for Rome. Oh, that was taking quite some time. Mutual open borders with Japan, which we already had, so we'll just carry on doing that. China's turn. Well, it didn't pop then, so I can only assume that it hasn't happened. So city-states doing their thing. Budapest is in awe of us. Oh, no, we have won. It did actually pop on that turn.
The awesome power of your culture. Your civilization's greatness, the magnificence of its monuments, and the power of its artists has astounded the world. Poets will honor you for as long as beauty brings gladness to a weary heart.
So there you go, there you have a cultural victory. As you can see, once you know what you're doing and once you build the correct combination of wonders and concentrate on great people, you can actually win a cultural victory quite easily. It's very difficult for someone to be able to defend against a cultural victory because it is a passive-aggressive victory. You don't actually have to go to war with anybody to do it, and in fact, as I've proven, not going to war and actually staying friendly with people actually helps, because the ability to have trade routes with people, the ability to have a shared religion if you can get away with doing that, but more importantly having open borders, which is the first thing you can do. You can open your borders from very, very early on in the game. It's a very early tech to allow you to do that, and that will give you that extra boost. And it's very, very difficult to stop somebody else from getting a cultural victory. The only way you can really stop it is by making sure that your own culture output is so high that their tourism cannot catch up with you. But the way the game scales, as the game progresses further and further towards the end, as you unlock new technologies and you have the option to get hotels and airports and various wonders towards the end of the game that all increase your tourism output, plus the ideologies, it gets to a point where the tourism is the tourism gets so many bonuses that the amount of tourism that a Civ outputs just gets doubled and doubled and doubled and doubled. And eventually, tourism will always beat the amount of culture per turn that is being put out quite easily. So the only real way you can stop it is to either beat somebody else to it by getting either a cultural victory yourself or a different type of victory, or by just going to war and just wrecking their stuff, capturing their cities, particularly if you can take one of their cities that has a lot of the wonders, or capture one of their cities that has a lot of great works in it, because if you capture a city and that city is full of great works, you actually capture those great works as well. So when you capture somebody else's city, the way it works is you get all of the wonders that are in that city, you get all of the great works that are contained within any of those wonders, if they have any. If they've got any buildings that aren't wonders but still contain great works, so museums, for example, you will always get those if they've got great works in them. If they haven't got great works in them, you may not get them. All military buildings get destroyed, so barracks, armories, military academies, they all get destroyed. And any other building has a 67% chance of being captured. But it always means if you capture somebody else's building, somebody else's city, you will get all of their wonders and you will get all of their great works. So that's a really, really easy way to scupper somebody from getting a cultural victory. So just before I end the video, just a quick look at the demographics. By the end of the game, we were first on everything, apart from soldiers, which surprisingly enough was the Incans. They actually had the largest army by the end of that one. Pretty much the worst on everything was Carthage, which was to be expected. The school's not going to be particularly brilliant. I didn't expect it to be. We were only a tiny bit off third there. This is just basically a sort of a what sort of score you should be aiming for. It does vary on difficulty level as well. And there we go. Let's have a look and see the graphs. And what did I want to look at? So score, we did get ahead quite early. It was about there where we sort of split off. I'm not sure what it was, but we did something that gave us an absolutely massive boost to score. And we just carried on climbing from there. We can see all sorts of various other things as well. Culture per turn. As you can see, my culture absolutely went crazy. So I was putting out a lot more culture than anybody else. You can see China's there. China did put a big boost to their culture right towards the end. That was probably the AI deciding that a cultural victory was imminent and therefore trying to slow down my progress with China. If there's one here for I didn't have an awful lot of happiness. I was actually well, China was pretty low. They were in the negatives, I think, for a lot of that. But yeah, wow, the Incans had some amazing... Rome had some amazing happiness there for a while. What I was most interested to find is tourism. But I'm not even sure if there is one for tourism. No, there isn't. That's very strange. I would have liked to have seen that because I'm guessing that my tourism actually went up quite a lot there. Number of known techs, as you can see, most of the civilizations teched up at pretty much the same time. The Songhai got quite far behind. So did Japan and Carthage by the end of it. But myself and Rome and the Incans and everybody else pretty much managed to have roughly the same amount of science output. I would have guessed. Where's our science output? Science per turn. Although towards the end, if that says our science output went crazy, that was probably at the point where we actually took Hamburg and started building observatories and turning it into a science city. And our science per turn went absolutely wild, which was strange because we still didn't actually manage to really out-tech anybody that heavily. But there you go, guys. That is how you win a cultural victory as Germany, which is a civilization in this game that is designed to be stronger as a military force than as a cultural force, but it just proves that it is doable. Next time I play a game of Civ and do it for the channel, I will do it on a high difficulty level and probably go for one of the other victory types. So until then, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.